The Young Thug situation is one of the craziest debacles I've ever seen, ever. All right. And the summation of this is complicated. I can't give you guys all the facts. He's been on trial for a while. RICO charges. They said that his label was a rap group, so on and so forth. So I wanted to highlight this creator. This gentleman's name is XV, I think. He started on TikTok, but he's pivoted over YouTube. And I think this is the most condensed, hilarious version of the entire debacle that just shows you, for those of you guys that are like, the justice system is never corrupt. Listen, Young Thug's probably guilty, all right? However, the way they're coming at him is crazy. The stuff that's happening in this trial is crazy. Make sure you play this at 1.25 speed. Yep. All right, go ahead, let's jump in.
So Young Thug had a problem. His group, YSL, just got hit with a RICO charge. What's a RICO charge? Great question. So basically, courts use this thing called RICO to bring a whole organization in for a crime. Courts kind of decided criminals could be treated like employees. If an employee does something, he was probably told by his boss to do so. Shouldn't his boss be liable? They decided yes. In Young Thug's case, he's considered the boss, and everybody else in YSL are like his employees. Now, as you can imagine, they really want Young Thug. Everyone else, So what do? They call everyone in and say, hey, you give us Young Thug, and we don't give you 50 years. Everyone else says 50, what? He did this, he did that, he did this, and that's where our boy Gunna comes in. People take things called...
RICO is something that was developed for the mob. They couldn't get the mob on stuff, so they developed this RICO charge. That's how they started getting the mob to all go away, because they would just all charge them as an organization because they wanted a big dog. They get everybody to flip and snitch. And this is a state RICO charge, not a federal RICO charge. But usually when it's a RICO charge, it's really hard to get out of it. And so they were anticipating that everybody would flip on him. But there's a plot twist. Now, he's going to get into Gunner. I don't really care about Gunner. Gunner's a civilian to me. He told the way he should have, but the rest of the story is really interesting.
Plea deals. Remember, the whole point of court is to convince jury people that this person did something or didn't. So they bring Gunner in and say, you didn't do that much. Gunner's like, I didn't. They're like, so all you got to do is tell us if YSL, this is important, if it's a gang or not. Don't tell us if Young Thug is a super bad criminal. Just tell us if it's a gang or not. And you're basically free to go. That sounds insane, right? But see, the thing is, this whole thing is a chess match. Before they can capture the king, which is Young Thug, they need to take down all the other pieces. So by Gunna and a bunch of other YSL members coming out and saying YSL is a gang, the jury's thinking, oh, if their own members are saying it's a gang and they're dangerous, then they're probably a gang and they're probably dangerous. So out of 28 people, a bunch of them took plea deals, a bunch of them got moved here, moved there, and all in all, 6 people, including Young Thug, were left. But a couple were already going to jail for life for past stuff, so they didn't care about a plea deal or not. Now, here's where the story starts.
A couple folks didn't tell. No, this is where it gets interesting.
To get wicked. This whole thing started because of a rap beef, but not quite. See, the thing you don't know about Young Thug is he's from one of the roughest neighborhoods in America. Another person from that neighborhood is named YFN Lucci. Now, you would think they'd be friends because they're both from the same neighborhood and they both came up around the same time. Nah, because when you're from a rough neighborhood, people get, and one of those people to get was someone very close to YFN Lucci named Big Nut. Rumor has it that YSL, Young Thug's group, was responsible. So a huge war breaks out in Atlanta, YFN Lucci's group and Young Thug's group. So many people's houses got lit up that federal agents had no choice but to take action. So not many people know this, but before Young Thug's group got taken down, they went after YFN Lucci's group first and they took him down.
Okay, so now let's jump ahead a little bit to where we get into the court case.
Because with each witness comes a list of other problems. One witness said, I don't know anything. Oh, you don't believe me?
So they start calling witnesses and it just got real crazy.
I'm sorry right now, y'all. I'm about to go to sleep on y'all.
He then goes on to say he's too high to remember the details. Another witness comes on the stand and flips on the prosecutors and starts helping Young Thug. Not because she liked Young Thug, it's because someone on the prosecutor's team kept asking her out on dates and she thought it was weird. She felt harassed, wanted to stay home, but they forced her to be there. So the judge said, stop, we're putting a cap on the witnesses. So it went from 700 to about 150. So instead of finishing in 2027, the trial's gonna finish in like 2026. So Young Thug's lawyers basically call for a mistrial, meaning everything needs to stop. The trial has taken too long. The jurors are checked out, which is the most important part. That's why trials can't be so long. Imagine you're sitting there for 2 years, hearing people go over and over, talk over. You're gonna check out. The judge says, no, we're gonna keep going. But the trial has been lasting for so long that the judge starts getting mad at everybody as well. They all hate each other at this point.
Wait, so how do the jurors get paid? Like, how do they live?
I don't think
if
they
you're in a
get
thing
paid
for 2 years.
But I think when you apply for jury duty, your job or the government subsidized. You should Google. Let's Google that. Let's figure out how do juries get paid.
That's
Jury duty is the thing. Yeah, and some of these jurors
Can you
are.
imagine paying me for like 2 years while I'm going to a Young Thug
I think it's subsidized. I think the federal government. I don't remember exactly how it works, but let's figure it out. That's a great question. Yeah, 700 witnesses till 2027. What'd you find?
Jurors are paid in a variety of ways depending on the state and whether they are federal jurors. Flat rate per diem. 31 states and the District of Columbia pay jurors a flat rate per day, which can range from $4 to $50 per day. The average rate is $19. Federal jurors are paid $50 a day. California jurors receive $15 per day starting at the second day of the service, plus mileage. Jurors receive at least 34 cents per mile and $12 for using public transit. Some courts may also programs that cost. Yeah, I don't know how people go to jury duty.
Yeah,
I think some jobs pay for it.
Yeah, something like that. It's weird.
I just tell them that I can't afford it.
They're just arguing in the courtroom. So Young Thug's lawyer says again, stop the trial. You basically called me an idiot a million times in front of the jury. This is not fair to us. The judge says no. We're gonna keep going. But everything explodes when Woody takes the stand. Remember, Woody's the one who started this whole thing. So he was the prosecution's star witness against Young Thug. The prosecution was hyped. They said, Thug, you going to jail. Woody, tell them what you was telling us. Woody said, did he hear me? Woody, he said. Woody becomes completely uncooperative. Listen to what he says to their first question.
How old are you?
Grown.
Okay, what does grown mean?
I'm an adult.
The prosecutor hold on.
It just goes on,
So
bro.
he had a good relationship with them, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Nah, I'm not participating."
Yeah, bro. And it just keeps spiraling out of control.
They said, "How old are you?" He said, "Grown."
Grown, an adult. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Shout out the creator one more time. Someone asked who's the creator. He has some really good like stuff. XV. Yeah. I think most of his stuff was TikTok and he brought it over, but now he's making stuff native to YouTube.
That's fire.
Because most of it was vertical. Yeah. He's really funny. Go ahead.
We need to talk to him. So the courts take a break. Woody comes back. He starts talking. And here's where things start to get wicked. See, here's the thing. Prosecutors already gave Woody basically immunity for whatever he says, so he can say whatever he wants. The deal goes, you told us that Young Thug is a bad guy. We let you go free. Now just repeat what you said in front of everyone. Now, listen closely. He decides not to say anything at first. The judge tells him you have to say stuff. That does not mean you have to say what you said to them earlier. You just have to say something. So he decides to start being a menace, dragging out questions, just being uncooperative. Remember, they then leave. They come back and he starts being a little more cooperative. So Young Thug's lawyers were like, why is he being a little more cooperative? Come to find out that Woody was taken to the back with the judge and the prosecutor and basically told, if you don't start talking right now, you finna go to jail. Now, this is just something.
Now, this is extremely unethical and likely illegal. You cannot do this. You cannot take the lead witness privately, tell him this, and basically force him to testify, because they were saying Woody was actually because he had full immunity. He was actually he was trying to plead the fifth, and then at one point he was like, "Well, I'll just own up to the things that they're being charging Thug with. Like I'll own up to the M's and the the crazy stuff he's being charged with." And so, it gets crazy.
Yikes.
Go ahead.
Courts cannot do. You have the right to a fair trial, meaning, listen closely, there cannot be any secret meetings. In fact, everything has to be known by everyone. All the charges, all the witnesses, nothing can be a secret between the judge, prosecutors, and the defendants. This meeting was clearly a secret. So Young Thug's lawyers confront the judge about it. The judge goes, how did you know? Young Thug's lawyers go, it doesn't matter how I knew. Did it happen?
Yikes.
The judge says, who told you? He says, it doesn't matter who told me. Why did it happen? The judge goes, he actually starts shaking up. You're going to jail. The lawyer goes, what? Judge goes, arrest that man. Young Thug's lawyer says, you know you don't want to do that. The judge said, yeah, I do. So Young Thug's lawyer goes to jail.
Got arrested in court. Got arrested in court
That's so illegal.
for being held in contempt.
Don't arrest a lawyer.
Arrested his lawyer
defense
in
lawyer?
court. Yeah. It gets better though.
Georgia Supreme Court immediately says, no. Everybody goes, that's it? The Supreme Court goes, yes. Go back. So Young Thug's lawyer comes back. The judge goes, why are you here? Young Thug's lawyer goes, you need to leave. The judge goes, Young Thug's lawyer goes, huh? He says, All right, we'll leave the decision up to another judge. Other judge, do you think I need to be dismissed from the trial? She goes, yes. He goes, do you want to think about it for a second? She goes, I don't. He goes, switching sides, switching sides. All right, let me just go. He
Switching sides.
So he got fired essentially. From the
He
case.
got let go from the case.
leaves. They get a new judge. And Young Thug's lawyer goes, because in all regards, this case is over. Because no matter what the courts decide, Young Thug's lawyer is just going to say the trial wasn't fair. And well, it wasn't. On top of that, the prosecution and the judge look very corrupt. So the jury is probably going to let Young Thug go. They don't know what's true and what's lies. How can I put a man in jail for life if I don't know how much times I've been lied to? If the jury decides, screw that, he's guilty, then Young Thug's lawyer just goes to an appeals court and says, you saw what happened. The Supreme Court's going to say, yeah, okay, mistrial. But the prosecutors try to counter that by saying, well, we're gonna get Young Thug on this other charge or this other charge. Then Young Thug's lawyer would counter that and say, maybe you were making this trial so bad that you wanted me to do a mistrial so you can start the trial over since you were already losing. And then it all gets so weird. The Supreme Court doesn't want to deal with that. So they're just gonna say, you lost, Georgia. Young Thug's free to go. Maybe.
So that's his prediction. His prediction is that they're gonna find him. They're gonna find it. This is too much of a mess.
That's crazy.
Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, that's not nothing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a crazy time, bro. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Comment down below and let me know what you think. And be sure to check out this video that YouTube is recommending just for you. Let me know if they nailed it. All right? I'll see you over there. Peace.